Hi, I just wanted to make a quick video this morning. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. My name's Raymond. I'm a follower of Christ, and I just wanted to read quick verses from Exodus and explain the archaeological proof behind it. So here it is. We got Exodus chapter 19. It's 19 through, I believe, 21. Okay. On the morning of the third day, well, I'll explain real quick. This was when this was in the Exodus when Moses had the people, after he took them from by the hand of God from escaping the hands of the Egyptians from slavery, and this is the point they were at. On the morning of the third day, there was thunder and lightning, with a thick cloud over the mountain, and a very loud trumpet blast. Everyone in the camp trembled. Then Moses led the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was covered with smoke. See, our Lord is a consuming fire. So I just want to explain that real quick before I finish. Okay, now, covered with smoke, because the Lord descended on it in fire. The smoke billowed up from it like smoke from a furnace. The whole mountain trembled violently, and the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder. Then Moses spoke, and the voice of God answered him. The Lord descended to the top of the mountain. The Lord descended to the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain. So Moses went up, and the Lord said to him, "Go down and warn the people so they do not force their way through to see the Lord, and many of them perish." See, they couldn't walk up the mountain only upon the request from God, and actually, everybody knows the story of the burning bush. So when Moses went to see what the burning bush was before he had actually ever known God, God, the first thing he told him was to take his sandals off, because it's holy ground. And this ground is so holy, and God is so powerful and so sinless that, the power of Him being in your face and seeing the face of God would strike you dead instantly. The only reason why it didn't to Moses was because, God was using him as a prophet, and obviously did not appear in his full mightiness before Moses. But okay, here's more. So Moses went up, and the Lord said to him, "Go down and warn the people, so they do not force their way up to see the Lord, and many of them perish. Even the priests who approach the Lord must consecrate themselves, or the Lord will break out against them," which meant to consecrate themselves. They had to do everything God specifically told them, like they had to anoint themselves with oil and all kinds of different things. Change their clothes. They had to go perfectly clean before the Lord our God. Moses said to the Lord, "The people cannot come up Mount Sinai because you yourself warned us. Put limits around the mountain and set it apart as holy." Like I said, it's holy ground. The Lord replied, "Go down and being Aaron up with you, but the priests and the people must not force their way through to come up to the Lord, or He will break out against them." So Moses went down to the people and told them, this is not where he gave him the Ten Commandments, but where he did give. Actually, no, this is where he did give him the Ten Commandments. I'm sorry. Now, this mountain is incredible, Mount Sinai. As I told you in here, he came down as a consuming fire, and God used to use it as his footstool. He used to, there was always a cloud of smoke for the longest time on that mountain, and Moses' father-in-law, before he even met him, and his daughters, who owned property right next to it, would see the presence of God. And if you watch the Ten Commandments, you'd get a better idea that when you see it in the beginning. That's the movie with oh man, I forget his name, but he played an awesome role being Moses, and it was a fantastic movie. But now, when you go and archaeologists have found Mount Sinai, literally the area where God rested himself or used as his footstool is burnt to a crisp. And this mountains, is rock and rocks, and it's just amazing. As the videotapes go through, the people weren't even supposed to be up there because it's actually Saudi Arabia territory now, and they don't allow people up there. And the main reason for that is because they want to hide the truth of the Bible from people. That's how some evolutionists are, is that they're so into it that they even deny the truth to themselves and deny it to other people from finding it. So even our government covers these type of things up. But people went up there, they weren't caught, and you see every rock, everything up there on the mountain that is just, it's burnt to a crisp. Like every single rock looks like a piece of charcoal. It's amazing, and it's absolute archaeological evidence that God rested upon that mountain and used it as his footstool. And another thing I wanted to speak on, which was when Moses went up for the Ten Commandments, he was up there for quite a while. Don't know if that was 40 days or 40 nights. I'd have to read up on that again. But he was up there for a long time, and the people depended on Moses so much. Rather than having a personal relationship with God themselves, they depended on Moses to deliver all the information to them. So they grew weary and forgot about God, basically, and just turned their back on him. Not all of them, but a huge group of them. I think it was about 10,000, and they forced Aaron to help them make a god of gold, which was the golden calf. They built an altar to it. According to the Bible, they built an altar to it and put the golden calf up there and started to worship it. And by the time God finished the Ten Commandments and explaining them to Moses, which were actually written by the Ten Commandments on the tablets, were written by the finger of God, and they're in the Ark of the Covenant now, which the Ark of the Covenant is nowhere to be found. It's one of the biblical things that people are still looking for. But that's another story for another time. But when he was done, God said, "Listen, your people are down there and have committed a great sin." And as he came down, Moses came back down the mountain. He came down the mountain and met Joshua at the bottom. And as they began to walk, Joshua said, "It sounds like they're at war down there." And Moses says, "No, that's the sounds of partying." I used a different word, but of people having a party and a celebration. And when they got down there, they were worshiping this god of gold, a bull, and Moses, in his anger, threw the Ten Commandments at the people, and started hollering, and these people saw the glory of God in front of them through everything they went through after leaving Egypt. Even during Egypt with the plagues and everything, they seen his power and his glory, and can see his consuming fire resting on the mountain, and everything he did for them, parting the sea, all that. And Moses said, "Okay, those of you that don't want to worship our God, who took us out of Egypt and out of bondage, slavery, and parted the seas for us, and led us at night by fire, by a pillar of fire, and the day by a cloud, to cover them from the hot desert sun. You come over here, and the rest of you that are still with me and still for the Lord, go over there." And I think it was 10,000 people. It was 10,000 people that came and said, that they wanted to worship the God of gold, and God opened up the earth and swallowed them. But besides all that, I'll get into the archaeological part now. I should have gotten to already. I get a little off course. I've got so much in my mind. Sometimes it's hard for me to organize it. A guy named Ron Wyatt, who not only found Mount Sinai, he knew that after finding Mount Sinai, he would find that altar close by unless it had been destroyed. And come to find out, it wasn't destroyed. He found it. Took pictures of it. There's golden calves and Egyptian writing, Egyptian-style writing, which, if you know, the Israelites obviously were slaves in Egypt and did all the handwork for Egypt. They built the pyramids. They built all that stuff in Egypt, because they were at the hands of slaves. The Egyptians, all they did was stand there and whip the people as they did it. So naturally, they picked up Egyptian writing and stuff. But there was golden calves. Oh, there's golden calves all along the rock, the big rock on it. Scraped into the rock, and you can just see it. It's an amazing altar. It's huge. Just rock stacked upon rock with the evidence of the golden calves all on it, and Egyptian style writing. And Ron Wyatt knew what he had found, and it proves the story of the Exodus more and more as you find these things. I had faith in it anyways, reading the Bible, but the archaeological evidence is just breathtaking. To see these things from thousands of years ago. Thousands. 4,000 years ago. Maybe even a little bit longer. And as he told people, because he wanted to show to the world what he had found. To help people with their faith, and to help people that didn't have faith see that these things were true. And immediately when the Saudi Arabian government had found out about this, they put a big fence around it, and you could still see it beyond the fence because people have come up after and actually videoed it also. Not quite as good video as Ron Wyatt had because he was able to actually go right next to it. But the reason the Saudi Arabian government put that up there was, and the reason why they don't let people on Mount Sinai is to hide the truth of the Bible. And like I said before in the Bible, they hide the truth. And they don't want the world to know, because Satan does not want the world to know the Bible. They don't want you to know God. Satan wants you to go to hell. He wants to bring as many souls to hell with him as possible. And hell was not made for man. Hell was made for the fallen angels, including Satan. So that's what I have in that story. If you want to look it up, if you think I'm BSing you, which I shouldn't use that, but if you think I'm pulling your chain on this, I'm not. You can look it up. You can see the video. You can see more than one video on it, and it's quite amazing. So just look up Mount Sinai. And you could even look up the altar of the calf, I believe. You know, this stuff will turn up on YouTube. I'm sure you all out there know how to use it, and you can see for yourselves. So thank you for listening. Have great holidays, and hope to speak to you again. Thanks. Bye.